purpose of moving Resolution 21-9YL, the Speaker recognizes Delegate Onika Williams of Washington, D.C., who also serves as chair of the National Bar Association's Young Lawyers Division. Delegate Williams has reserved 2 minutes for rebuttal. Delegate Williams, you may proceed with your proponent's speech at this point for up to 4 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good afternoon, Chair Brown, YLD officers, YLD Council, and the entire YLD Assembly. I humbly come before you today to ask for your support of Resolution 21-9YL to establish National Young Lawyers Week. This resolution was unanimously approved by the YLD Council on February 17th. With your support, 21-9YL would establish an annual coordinated effort to celebrate the contributions, importance, diversity, and leadership of the young lawyer within the legal profession and community. This annual effort would be led by the ABA YLD, its affiliates, including the national affiliates and their affiliates. The great civil rights legend John Lewis once said, "Every generation leaves behind a legacy. What that legacy will be is determined by the people of that generation. What legacy do you want to leave behind?" Delegates, I ask you today, as young lawyers, what legacy do you want to leave behind? As each of you know, our profession has always had young lawyers, and these young lawyers have always been integral to the survival of our profession. And as it has done with previous generations, the legal profession will continue to rely on young lawyers for at least 2 reasons. 1, young lawyers provide innovation and leadership in the legal field, and 2, young lawyers have helped to increase the diversity and inclusion pipeline for our profession. And it is for at least these 2 reasons, I ask you to vote in favor of 21-9YL. First, young lawyers should be celebrated for our innovation and leadership. Among us today are delegations of young lawyer sections and divisions from across the country who have led with innovation even in a pandemic. A few timely examples of this innovation and leadership are ABA YLD's revealing study on the crippling burden of student loan debt that has received nationwide coverage in publications such as Law.com and Law 360. One of the affiliate stars of the bar announced on Wednesday was the Arkansas Bar Association Young Lawyers Division for their name change and gender marker clinic. This year, the NBA YLD assisted the NBA's election protection efforts during the general election and the Georgia Senate runoffs, including helping to staff a Lawyers Committee election protection hotline on November 3rd. Our election protection efforts were recognized in a USA Today article and by the Lawyers Committee. If we had time, we could share hundreds of innovative programs led by today's delegates just this bar year. Second, young lawyers should be celebrated for leading our profession's diversity and inclusion efforts. When it comes to diversity, we know that our legal profession has to become more diverse over time. But we also know that it has become more diverse over time, but we also know there is much work to be done. As we all know, the ABA YLD has several programs and initiatives that aim to increase diversity and inclusion, including the ABA YLD Scholars Program and Embracing Diversity Challenge. The Florida Bar launched the hashtag #WildIsMe campaign to help defy the stereotype of what a lawyer is and does. The Virginia State Bar's Young Lawyers Conference hosts the Oliver Hill / Samuel Tucker Pre-Law Institute. The institute introduces minority high school students to the legal profession. The NBA YLD is the official partner with a first of its kind national mentorship pre-law program called the Bridge Builders Esquire National Mentorship Program for aspiring Black lawyers. Again, these are just a few examples of what our bars have done. By establishing a National Young Lawyers Week, each of our bar associations will help to amplify the important work and accomplishments of young lawyers and young lawyer divisions across the country. So again, I ask you delegates, what legacy do you want to leave behind? I hope you want to leave behind a legacy that includes formally recognizing the importance of the young lawyer to the legal profession for generations to come with a vote in favor of Resolution 21-9YL. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate Williams. The Speaker is not in possession of any slips in opposition to this resolution. If you wish to speak in opposition to this resolution or any resolution be sure to indicate with the Q&A function. We'll give it just a moment, and I am not seeing any in opposition. We will turn to the Council Delegate and YLD Administrative Director, Tamara Nash, at this point for a report from the YLD Council.
Mr. Speaker, the Council considered Resolution 21-9YL at its February 17, 2021 Council meeting. The Council welcomed this resolution and the involvement of our national affiliate Young Lawyers divisions. The Council voted in favor of recommending that this Assembly adopt Resolution 21-9YL.
For the purpose of debate, the Speaker recognizes the next proponent, Renee Morency of St. Louis, Missouri, who is also a Council Delegate. Delegate Morency, you have 2 minutes unless you waive.
Thank you, Chair Jennison. Shall I proceed?
You may.
Great, thank you. Friends, our profession is not known for embracing change. Young lawyers provide a fresh pair of eyes, an important guard against groupthink, innovative thinking, a counter to confirmation bias. You've heard us say it 100 times. Young lawyers are the future of the profession. What you haven't heard enough is that young lawyers have always been the future of the profession. 35-year-old Barack Obama was a young lawyer when he was elected to the Illinois State Senate. The report to the resolution states Fred D. Gray, at 24 years old, defended Rosa Parks against charges of disorderly conduct after she was arrested for refusing to give up her seat on the bus. He later became president of the NBA and received the ABA Spirit of Excellence Award and became the first Black president of the Alabama Bar Association. Colleagues, young lawyers make history, and we do it every day. Like when ABA young lawyers lead the way in providing disaster legal services, or like, as Ms. Williams just noted, when NBA young lawyers partner with election protection to safeguard that most democratic of endeavors, the vote. I foresee 3 outcomes that will result from the adoption of this resolution. Number 1, National Young Lawyers Week will give recognition where it's due. Number 2, it will perhaps prompt legal employers to showcase the contributions of their young lawyer employees. And number 3, most importantly, will amplify the voices of young lawyers to enable us to do more of what we do well, improve the practice of law and the administration of justice.
Thank you, Ms. Morency. For purposes of debate, do we have any opponent speakers? I'm not seeing any. Again, if you wish to speak in opposition to this or any of the debate resolutions today, use the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen. For purposes of debate and speaking as a proponent speaker, the speaker recognizes Tamara Nash unless she chooses to waive.
I would waive at this time, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate Nash. For purposes of debate, do we have our next opponent speaker? Speaker is not in possession of any slips or interest to speak in opposition. For purposes of the debate, the speaker recognizes the next proponent. We're going to move to Chair Chris Brown at this time, unless he chooses to waive.
I will waive, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Chair Brown. Seeing no further debate, I'm talking slowly so that people have chances to get their slips in or their Q&A in. Seeing no further debate on this, the speaker recognizes Delegate Williams for a 2-minute rebuttal unless she chooses to waive.
I choose to waive. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate Williams. Delegates, please take a second and consider your vote. The question on the table is on the adoption of Resolution 21-9YL. This motion takes a simple majority. We're going to do the voting the same way we did for the remote assembly rules. All those in favor of the motion say aye at this time by using the voting function to raise your hand and keep your hand raised. And while you are voting, and while the tellers are counting the vote, you're going to hear the first of many PSAs today. The ABA President-elect Reggie Turner of Detroit, Michigan, reminds you all that the deadline to apply for the ABA presidential appointment process is today. There are more than 600 appointments to different ABA standing committees, special committees, commissions, and other association entities and initiatives. And he strongly encourages young lawyers and says that young lawyer perspectives are highly valued. Apply by 6 p.m. Eastern today via the ABA website, and we will be sure that the link is posted in the chat as well in just a moment. I am standing by for the tellers to lower the hands when they have an accurate count. Again, do not lower your hands yourself. I'm seeing that the tellers have lowered the hands, so we'll move to a nay vote at this time. If there are any delegates who are opposed to the adoption of this resolution, please say nay at this time by using the voting function to raise your hand. And on to my second PSA of the day. I'd like to take a moment to feature a great program whose deadlines are coming due soon. The YLD Scholars Program is designed to encourage the participation of minority, solo and small firm, government, private sector, and military service attorneys in the division. Participants get financial assistance for participation, appointment to division boards and teams, mentorship, and more. The deadline to apply for the Scholars Program is March 31st, 2021. We will also ensure that the link for the Scholars Program is posted shortly in the chat as well. I will ask the tellers lower the hands when they have an accurate count. And while they're doing that, I'll say that I was a scholar, and I highly recommend that those who might be interested reach out to leaders in the division or look at the website to find out some more information on that. And tellers, when you have a count, go ahead and lower the hands so I know that you have a count. Sorry for the technical delays and the slow process of our voting today. At the same time, it's probably faster than if we were in person and walking around with clickers to check the votes too. I am informed by the tellers that there are people still raising their hands. So we're going to do this one more time. If you are opposed to the adoption of 21-9YL, please raise your hand and keep it raised. If you are opposed to the adoption of 21-9YL, please raise your hand using the raise hand function and keep it raised. And we're going to keep it up for just a minute while we let the tellers check individuals' votes and make sure that we're getting an accurate count. All right, see the tellers lowering hands, so they're going to get to me with the results in just a second. And this resolution 21-9YL is adopted by the Assembly. Thank you, Delegate Williams. We will now hear from the ABA President-elect, Reggie Turner of Detroit, Michigan.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for inviting me to share a few words during the YLD Assembly. It's very important to have active young lawyer members carry the torch and be the future of the legal profession. Your success is success for the profession, so we support you on your journey. I'm acutely aware of how challenging it has been for you, for all of us during this pandemic. I'm empathetic to the need to juggle concerns about an uncertain job market and sustaining student loan payments and the issues that young lawyers are faced with. That's why the ABA continues to raise its voice and recommend relief efforts and policies that assist young lawyers. I also know how resilient and tenacious great young lawyers are, and the fortitude that you exude to achieve your goals. Hold on to the passion and purpose that drove you to become a lawyer. It will give you focus and sustain you on the winding road of life and your career. I'm so proud that my daughter, who graduated from college in May 2020, is preparing to take the law school admissions test. While I could not be more excited for her to embark on her path to law school, I support her by not being a source of pressure. As President-elect of the American Bar Association, I look forward to working with you in this coming year. I can learn a great deal from you as well. I'm honored to follow in the footsteps of those who have led the association in providing the voice of the profession. Please know that I will continue to stand with ABA leaders on issues that positively affect our young lawyers.